I'm Marc Silber. We're back in Yosemite with Michael Adams. Michael, tell us where we are.
We are at Glacier Point, 7,200 feet on the edge of Yosemite Valley with a spectacular day, a little hazy, a little smoke in the air from control burns outside the park, but the waterfalls are running full. We're seeing the new growth of the trees in the valley, not so much up here, but just a spectacular scene today with the snow in the backcountry, and we're here
by
ourselves with the only noise, really, the waterfalls in the background.
Pretty amazing.
It is.
Pretty amazing. Okay, so your dad took a lot of shots from up here.
He did.
What are some of the shots that come to mind?
Well, of course, the waterfalls. There's several of the waterfalls, and this time of year is just perfect for that. The falls are full. Looking across at North Dome and then Mount Hoffman behind, I know there's a number of his pictures with wonderful thunderstorms, thunderclouds behind him. Looking up Tenaya Canyon, Clouds Rest, Half Dome, and then the backcountry here, Mount Florence in the distance, Lyle, and then closer the Clark Range, Mount Clark and Gray Peak that we can see here, Red Peak behind the trees. Nevada Fall and Vernal Fall. This is just a place where you can see all kinds of things.
And of course the centerpiece right behind us,
Half Dome.
And what about that story in 1927?
In 1927, in April, about this same time, my dad and my mother and some friends climbed what's called a LeConte Gully between Grizzly Peak and this ridge line, climbed up on the shoulder of Half Dome to the diving board that you can see illuminated there with a very sharp knife edge. And he took a picture there with his glass plate camera that probably changed his life and his future. His next to last glass plate he took with a yellow filter, but realized that he wasn't going to get the result that he wanted. He changed to a red filter, took that picture, and when he developed it, he realized that he had made the right decision, that he knew what he was doing, and he knew what he was going to get in the final picture. And he always said that that was probably the time that he decided on a career change from being a musician, a pianist, to photography. At least that was the beginning of it, and the idea of pre-visualization and knowing what the final outcome could be.
How much do you think his music discipline and background influences photography?
I think it had a tremendous amount, and there are several photographers that were musicians first or along with their photography. It taught discipline,
right, and
it taught practice, and they made sure that everything was in line, as a musician would. And Ansel used to say, when he was asked about this, that the negative is the score and the performance would be the print, the final result. And so he used that terminology.
You know, one of the quotes that I use a lot that he said was, "You don't take a photograph, you make it."
True.
And I think that's what we recognize in his mastery. He visualized something and made the photograph.
And made
speak.
it, and a lot of people don't realize how much of what his final result was dependent upon what he did in the darkroom.
Right.
And that was, in many ways, the genius. A lot of us could take the picture and come up with a negative, but he could do some magic things within the darkroom, and he always told people that this is not reality. What I'm giving you in this print is not what you are seeing in this in the environment. You're seeing my interpretation of it, and you're seeing something that's very dramatic in many ways. But because of what he could do in the darkroom, that was usually the result.
And again, I think that's his musical background. You have the score, but how it's interpreted is your performance.
Is the performance.
Be sure to subscribe to our blog now to stay updated on my show, and we'll give you tips and insight to keep advancing your photography. Also, check out our guests' website for a closer look at their work. Tune in to our next episode of Advancing Your Photography for an inside look at another photographer's world. Until then, this is Marc Silber reminding you to get out and capture your own images of life.